Yo, what is good, YouTube? It's your boy Leach back here with another reaction video. We got Falcons fire head coach Raheem Morris. Morris 37 and 56 career record as NFL head coach. So the Falcons look to add a new head coach. But yeah, make sure y'all follow the socials on the screen. And make sure y'all hit that sub button, turn them noties on. I give thanks to the man above for another day. God bless. I love y'all, man. Let's get right into it.
Coach Raheem Morris and GM Terry Fontenot. That's the latest from our NFL insider, Jonathan Jones. The Falcons finishing the season winning 4 straight, including on Sunday against the Saints. But
yeah, I mean,
they went 8-9 for a second straight year, missed the playoffs. Morris has won.
Yeah, that Falcons team got a lot of talent too, bro.
His career as
this is the right firing in my opinion.
Back here on Game Day Recap.
I wonder who they'll look to target, though.
Surprising news, if you will, a really quick coaching change maybe here. The Falcons did finish the year really strong there. Of course, they finished with a win today.
37 and 56 as a head coach.
I go to my GM on set here. What are your thoughts?
8 straight losing season, longest in team history, bro. Like what?
Being let go. I thought the way they finished, I thought the guys played extremely hard for him. I thought the way they finished the season, winning a couple games in a row, I thought he would have been a little bit more solidified there. But I think making this change, especially right now, ahead of what we call Black Monday, I think is going to really signal some wholesale changes in, from a structural standpoint of how they're going to build this front office moving forward.
Look, Raheem Morris.
But let me know in the comment section down below. What do y'all think of this firing? Is it the right firing? I mean,
the general manager doesn't come back anyways,
bro.
I didn't think so.
They need a leader,
there were some
bro.
issues inside that team too, coaches and stuff.
I mean, Raheem Morris wasn't bad, but bro, he's not going to get you to where you want to go.
Some coaches go in the middle of the season, and that's never a good look. So I think they want to structurally change it, but they want to change the whole culture in that building, and it hasn't been very good for a long time. Let's be real. And you know, the whole thing with Kirk Cousins, that was ugly and messy, and the fact that they didn't let him go, and he complained last year about was he hurt, and he said he was hurt, and he didn't tell anybody.
And the thing is, the Falcons are in a shitty division, bro. Like, if they get a really good head coach, bro, they're going to be set, bro.
I get it, and make changes in the organization. The way you,
I mean, the only team you really got to worry about is Carolina and Tampa Bay.
Just real quick, Pete. In terms of the way this roster is built, because I will argue anybody that this is a very talented roster.
It is.
And they should have won more games than they have. So whoever steps in, whether it's the new president of football operations, the GM, the head coach, whoever those people are, will they come in the job on the clock because this team is so talented?
But you also have quarterback issues.
No, I'm asking a question.
Right. Okay. If you're asking me, they have issues? They have issues. You got a quarterback issue. I mean, you made
the but that's the only issue.
By the way, you were the guys who drafted the quarterback after paying the quarterback, and then that led to all kinds of problems. Now you got the guy you drafted who's coming off a major injury again,
Penix,
and you have the other
I
guy
expect
who's
Penix
120
to
years old
bounce
and
back,
wants out of there and looked like it at times. And so what do you do?
But that's their only issue, bro. The Falcons roster, like their roster in general, bro. Offensively, they got weapons. Defensively, I mean, there's not really much to say there, bro. They got playmakers.
It's not like you walk in, yeah, it's a good, talented roster, but you know that. If you don't fix that quarterback position, it doesn't matter how good you are in those spots.
Is that where you're seeing the biggest need for improvement in Atlanta, the quarterback spot? Or what do you, now that they do have a clean slate going forward, how do you expect the Falcons to
They just need Penix.
Well, it's definitely the quarterback position. I mean, the conundrum that they've put themselves in, I mean, you've made your bed, now you're lying in it, and you have to find out what you're going to do. Is it going to be Kirk Cousins? Is it going to be Michael Penix? Is it going to be somebody else? I mean, there's so many possibilities on the table.
You never know, they might move on from both of them.
I just look at a structural standpoint of, you have to have somebody that's going to come in and provide stability. Not just confidence, but
I feel like they should
we're going to make the right decisions.
We're not
going
to, showed some
do things that make
stuff.
people question the integrity of why we're making these decisions.
Look, they're up there with the Panthers and the Jets,
command the attention of the players and say, listen, we're going to turn this around. Like you said, Rand, this roster is too talented for us to be going 8-9 consecutive
That's crazy,
seasons.
bro.
That's not good enough. We need to improve on that. It starts with the quarterback position. If you have somebody that comes in with that type of mentality, I think the Falcons can start turning in the right direction. But again, you need somebody that's just going to come in and provide immediate stability.
Well, I'll say this, and Pete, you and I were talking about it upstairs.
That's where I'm at.
And
I'm not even a Falcons fan.
As a whole is going to be versus next year. Well, the Falcons don't have a first-round pick this year. And so you don't have a first-round pick this year. You have already taken a quarterback in the first round. You're probably moving on from Kirk Cousins and his contract this offseason. where do you fix it? Where do you go to fix it? Are you going to be able to find a quarterback on day 2 that's going to help you fix it? Will you have to go?
Well, they fired their GM,
in terms of a
Terry,
that's
too?
already that's played a ton of ball until Michael Penix is healthy. Where do you go in this year to fix it? And that's why I asked the question.
I don't know why I just saw that.
Is that person going to come in? The next person?
I must have not been paying attention.
In terms of just how talented, not just because of how talented this roster is, but the closing window. Right,
but no, the Falcons,
forward, you're gonna have to pay some of these guys, the Bijans.
I don't blame them.
The receiver, they got this young secondary, this young defense that's playing lights out.
They gotta.
How are you going to be able to keep
when
this
you have
team
8 consecutive
together?
losing
That's
seasons, bro, you have to clean house.
Can I ask you a question? Because as we're talking about bridging towards
the Jets, I don't know. They've tried to change stuff.
When he's healthy,
the Jets
how confident are we in Michael Penix?
That's the other part.
Then the Panthers, they're surprisingly in the playoffs. So
it wasn't like he was lighting it up when he was playing.
No,
still, they didn't have a winning record.
That still leads back to my
just shows you how
where do you go to fix the
that
quarterback
division
in this coming year?
If you get a right leader in that division, man, like a really elite head coach,
they're probably going to bridge it this year.
Never know the Falcons.
Not be very good.
Really,
be,
control
maybe
that division.
9. Yeah, that's the problem.
Just gotta find the right guy, to be the head coach.
Because they do have talent on that roster.
Get a new
if they're
GM,
8 or 9, then you don't get a chance to get one of the top quarterbacks, Arch Manning, the next year. And so don't roll your eyes about Arch Manning. He's going to end up being a top quarterback. You watch.
Real quick, you have any
the Arch Manning hate? I don't know why.
We're going to try to check in with our insider, but anyone that jumps out to you that could take over in that space?
Well, I think they went defense this time. I think they need to go offense.
Okay.
But the problem is there's not a lot of good offensive coaches out there. The candidate pool is not very good. And that's an issue. Where will somebody who takes over the organization look to find a head coach? That's what you got to try and figure out.
I agree. You go offensive coach because as you're trying to figure out this quarterback situation, where you're going to go, how you're going to bridge it, you still have Bijan Robinson, who's one of the best players in the National Football League. If you can find a good enough offensive coach, they can get a good enough staff to put together a game plan, you can make the playoffs off the back of Bijan Robinson. As long as you have just adequate quarterback play, not somebody that's going to go out there and light it up. I think even with the way that Michael Penix has played this season when he was healthy,
Raheem Moore's career as a head coach, bro. Like, if he just doesn't, why the fuck did he get fired why did he get hired in the first
creative ways like they've been doing? You can get to the playoffs.
I mean, 37-56 record as a career record as an NFL head coach.
Finding a good offensive-minded coach.
Here's what I'll say, because it's no indictment
the Falcons
on
must have
Raheem,
not been
it's no
serious
indictment on
hire,
Arthur
bro.
Smith, who was a head coach before them. I just think sometimes, and especially in a candidate pool that looks like this, where Pete was saying there's not a lot of strong offensive-minded head coaching candidates. Let's take it a step further. Forget the offense, defense, special teams, whatever their specialty is. Let's find a leader of men that can change the culture.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you just need a leader, bro. Like, the Falcons,
because based off of what
you'd want an offensive-minded head coach.
You're saying, you have proper intel
they
to
just
say
need
those
someone
things.
in there that knows
There's a
what
cultural
they're doing,
problem.
Bro.
So let's find someone that can come in and help establish a culture. Because I don't care what anybody says, they're still chasing the ghost of what Dan Quinn built from a cultural standpoint when he was there in Atlanta.
Yeah, you get. I'm with you on leader of men. You can find a good offensive coach, you can find a good quarterbacks coach, but you never know if the guy who can do both. And so I'm with you. Don't worry about what side of the ball he comes from. Just worry about what he can do overseeing the whole thing. Look, Bill Belichick was a great coach, and he dabbled in the offense and he dabbled in the defense, and sometimes went too far on both sides of the ball. But the reality is, if you find the guy who establishes the culture, Nick
that's
Saban
the thing. Where the Falcons
find not just an offensive or defensive.
It's not easy as people
follow
think it is
that
to get a
breaking news
coach.
out of Atlanta, where the Falcons have fired head coach Raheem Morris and GM Terry Fontenot. Both our JJ has confirmed that, but the team did announce the change. The Falcons finished the season winning 4 straight, including on Sunday against the Saints, but they went 8-9 for a second straight season. They missed the postseason. Morris, meanwhile, has won under 40% of his games in his career as a head coach. Taking a look at those numbers, here is the career for Raheem Morris as a head coach. Of course, all comes to a head in 2025. Back-to-back 8-9 seasons. Before a 4-7 season in Atlanta. And then, of course, you see the numbers there when he was with Tampa Bay. So some work to do in Atlanta. Need a new head coach and a new GM. Thankfully, we've got our NFL insider, Jonathan Jones, joining us here on Game Day Recap. JJ, appreciate the time. Bring us up to speed here. What led to the decision to make these changes in Atlanta?
So what I had heard, Haley, earlier in the season was that there was not a specific edict from Falcons owner Arthur Blank of playoffs or else, but that it was widely understood within the building we need to make the playoffs or else. Now, of course, they were eliminated from playoff competition a couple of weeks ago, but they kept winning and kept winning. And now, of course, the Falcons wind up with the exact same record as the NFC South champion Carolina Panthers, but of course, due to tiebreakers, are not going to be division champions.
Won the
will
division
not be
at
playing
8
in
and
the
9.
playoffs. So the news now official. Terry
But I'm happy for
Fontenot,
the
the
Panthers
general
and their
manager of the
fans.
team,
Like,
he's been there
haven't been
for
in the
the
playoffs
past
in a
5
while.
seasons. He came in with Arthur Smith. You could say he hired him, but it was during that sort of COVID year where everybody is doing stuff on Zoom, and so it was kind of a partnership and everyone getting to know one another virtually.
Yeah, why did
And
they
obviously,
hire
that
Raheem
didn't
Morris
work out.
in the first
He
place?
was able to survive the great scare of Bill Belichick from a couple of years ago, if we can call it that. Wound up getting a little bit more control there and operated as general manager, where he had a fantastic draft class this past year. Probably gave up a little too much to get back into the first round, but ultimately 3 of his draft picks may wind up being in the top 5 of Defensive Rookie of the Year voting.
Wow.
Meanwhile, Raheem Morris, of course, these 2 years, if you believe that you have the talent, well, then why didn't you get the victories out there on the football field?
Exactly.
This is the worst division in the NFL.
It
the
is.
NFC
That's
South.
what I'm saying.
They
Like,
couldn't get it done
bro, if the
last year,
Falcons just
couldn't
find
get
a
it
right
done this
head
year.
coach, bro, like
Questions at the
they
quarterback
control that
position.
division,
It was
bro. I mean,
always
you got the
personnel
Bucks, who got
and
Baker.
coaching. And so because of that,
Like,
and because they
even the
continue
Bucks
one of the
fell
longest
off second
playoff
half of the
droughts
season,
in the
like,
NFL, we're seeing a full
first half of
reset
the season, they were
there
hot.
in Atlanta.
Yeah, the fellas were talking about the quarterback situation.
Yeah, that's a big question, too.
In this situation,
I really didn't think about that. I know,
room, at least for now, maybe
you
some
know, do they
changes
want to ride with
going
Penix?
forward.
You know, did they
JJ,
keep
one of the
Cousins?
things that the fellas mentioned as
Did
well,
they
when
get
you
rid of
look at all the
both and just
placement and
completely
what the
try to go for a
Falcons
new
need,
quarterback?
the
What do y'all
consensus
think
here
they
on
should
set
do?
was that they need a leader of men. And
I don't know.
yes,
I think
you
they
the
should just let
schematics and
Penix.
The coaching aspect of it is important, but the culture. Who are
That's just
some
me, though.
names or anyone that you think could really step in and fill that role and maybe even check that box along the way?
You know, you're going to hear the term leader of men, and totally, I understand what that means. It's difficult for folks who haven't been around football to necessarily understand what leader of men means. But the Falcons set out for a leader of men a couple of years ago, and they felt very good about their search that resulted in Raheem Morris and how he was going to lead their men. So, you know, they did that, and they fired him 2 years later. The one thing with Arthur Blank and his ownership of more than 20 years with the Atlanta Falcons, he usually has gone offense and defense and offense and defense. If you look back at it, right? It was Raheem Morris, sort of from the defensive side. Then you look back, and then it was Arthur Smith from the offensive side. Before that, it was Dan Quinn. And the trend sort of goes
The last
along
2 head coaches
in
hadn't
that
even
way.
made a playoff appearance, bro.
I could see the Falcons right now as it sits here as an offensive head coach. But what's going to be really important is who's making the decisions.
They better take
okay?
their sweet
It's
time
Arthur
with this
Blank, the
hire,
owner of the
bro.
team.
Like,
Josh Blank,
same with
his
the
son,
GM,
is going to be heavily
especially
involved
head
in the
coach.
process. Falcons doing something incredibly unique by hiring not just one sports consulting firm,
But like I
two
said, bro, like,
sports consulting
this
firms.
past draft
One is
they
going
had,
to help
they
assist
nailed it.
the head coach process.
They got
the
a
other
lot of
is
good
going to
young
help
talent.
assist in the GM process.
It's
I'll
just
leave it
about
to
finding
our
the
general
right head
manager, Rand
coach,
Carthon,
you know,
to help
GM,
us understand. But I don't
to
remember
get them
hearing
back
using
into the
2 different
playoffs.
firms for 2 different searches that will be run simultaneous to one
Because if
another.
you
So
look
that
at the
part
Falcons
is
roster, you'd
unique.
be like, how is
Ultimately, you
this,
wanna
like,
figure out
not
who
a
is calling the
wild
shots.
card team,
Typically,
you know?
you get a general manager installed before you hire the head coach when both are open. But again, things appear to be a little bit different down in Atlanta, so we'll see how they go about this process.
Certainly will be a process nonetheless. JJ, we know you'll be on top of it as it goes along. I appreciate you joining us.
I mean, they gave
here
him
on
2
Game Day
years,
Recap.
bro. Like,
stay
Raheem,
busy
you've had
as
time
the
to
playoffs
figure
get
it
ready
out.
to get underway. It's going to get chaotic. Just the first of what we expect to be several coaching changes.
Longest
as the
active
NFL
playoff
offseason
droughts,
begins
bro.
in
The
just a couple
Falcons.
of weeks here. In the meantime,
Up there with the
you heard
Colts,
JJ
the
mention
Saints,
it,
and
one
the
of the
Jets. That's
longest
not where you
active
want to
playoff
be.
droughts. Only the Jets have been kept out of the playoffs longer than the Falcons. Of course, the Colts and the Saints.
Yeah, I feel
all
for
in
all
that same
them
division,
fan bases.
struggling to get to the postseason.
Stuff.
So all in that same.
But that's gonna do it. The Falcons fired GM Terry. I don't even know how you say his last name. Fontenot. I don't even know. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce it. And then they fired obviously head coach Raheem Morris after 2 seasons, bro. You know, he had it coming, man. Like, you know, when you haven't made the playoffs since 2017, I mean, you give that your head coach 2 years. Don't really do nothing. You just have to clean house. That's just what it is. But I'm curious to see what the Falcons will do. Will they bring back Penix, let him ride it out next year, or will they just get rid of Kirk and Penix and just get a new quarterback? I don't know. We'll have to see. But, yeah, they better take their sweet time with both hires. And yeah, that's all I got to say about that. But, yeah, make sure y'all follow the socials on the screen. We much appreciate it. I love y'all, and I'm out. Peace.